on. We're delighted that you've all joined us this webinar on Thursday afternoon in National Apprenticeship Week. So happy National Apprenticeship Week to all Kaplan apprentices on the call with us and those of you thinking of becoming an apprentice. I'm Jenny Pelling. I'm the Director of Apprenticeship Development and Diversity at Kaplan. And my favourite part of the job that I do is to be part of our shadow board, which is a Kaplan Apprenticeship Advisory Panel, essentially our learner voice. And I'm delighted and thrilled that we've got some of our panel members with us for this webinar today in National Apprenticeship Week. And so I'm going to ask each of them to introduce themselves before we address the theme of the year, Skills for Life. So if I can start with Jon. Do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I'll bore everyone to death with my story. So I'm Jon. I'm a commercial banking degree apprentice at HSBC. I'm in my second placement at the moment, so second year. My background, as you can probably tell, I'm a little bit older than your generic 18-year-old apprentice. I'm actually 25. I played professional football prior to the apprenticeship that I'm on now. I played from all the way up to 18 to about 22. I then worked in a community centre, got into a position where I thought I kind of want a degree, I kind of want some education, didn't want to go to university, thought, oh gosh, I'm way too old for that. I can't live on a student loan or student money like that. So I did a little bit of research, stumbled upon an apprenticeship scheme, which has been fantastic and haven't looked back since. So yeah, that's me. Hopefully that wasn't too boring.
Not at all. Thanks, Jon. Amber, how about you next?
Yeah, so hi everyone, I'm Amber. I'm a senior auditor from Deloitte. I'm currently doing my level 7 accountancy apprenticeship with Kaplan. I started this apprenticeship back in 2019, so I'm en route this summer to qualify as a chartered accountant. Again, I left college and started my apprenticeship once I'd done my A-levels, and I found out about my apprenticeship through a careers fair at my local college.
Fantastic, thank you. Genelle?
Yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Genelle. I am no longer an active apprentice, but I have been an apprentice of Kaplan for over 4 years. I started off with a Barclays High Apprenticeship Program, which introduced us into the CIMA Kaplan Apprenticeship Program. I'm currently halfway through my CIMA and work as a product control analyst in Barclays at the moment, but that will soon change as I've recently taken up offer to work in an external company in London.
Congratulations, Genelle. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's pass the banking baton on to Luke.
Hi everyone, I'm Luke Lyons. I am a finance manager at Lloyds Banking Group. Currently studying a level 7 finance apprenticeship for CIMA to be fully qualified accountants. Quite a long story of how I got here. I've done all three in the sense of doing an apprenticeship beforehand, building my way up in my own career and doing a degree. Started for Lloyds Banking Group in the call centre, and after 3 years kind of stumbled upon a financial apprenticeship scheme. Began that at level 4, qualified for that in 2021. So now I am studying for level 7.
Fantastic, thank you, Luke. And Neve?
Hi, yep, I'm Neve. So I'm similar to Amber. I'm studying my level 7 accounting professional apprenticeship with Kaplan. So yeah, my route was finish college and then went on to uni to do accounting and finance, and then I'm within an apprenticeship now. So I'm on track to finish in November 23, hopefully all my exams, and yeah, first time in London this week at Kaplan, so it's all been very interesting, but yeah, that's me.
I think I'm in the same building as you, Neve.
Oh really? It is definitely, the tube is something to get used to, like coming from Manchester.
Corridor. Yeah, I'll run down the corridor and say hi afterwards. And for Andrew.
Hi, I'm Andrew. I'm a auditor at Gravita Business Services in London. I'm on the level 7 ACA apprenticeship scheme. Coming towards the end of it now, and my route towards this, I did history at university, and then I worked for a range of startups for a few years, got interested in how businesses work, and came into accounting from there.
Brilliant, thank you. So to the panel, I'm going to pose a couple of questions to you first, and let's take them in the order in which you introduce yourselves, see if we can remember that. And then it's open to anybody on the call. If you want to put questions in the chat for us, then I'll work through those and we'll field those afterwards. So have a think about questions you'd like to know from the panel on Skills for Life. So my opening question is, Skills for Life is the theme of National Apprenticeship Week. What skills for life do you think you've developed during your apprenticeship, and how have they helped you?
So I think I kicked us off, didn't I? So yeah, I'll go. When it comes to skills for life, I think you could probably reel off hundreds. You're learning different skill pretty much every day, but the things that I've potentially taken that I will be continuing to use is potentially the people skills, having the opportunity to speak with people from a wide range of backgrounds has just been immense. The opportunity to be on a board like this, for example, is it gives you that skill of understanding how people work, how they might want to communicate, especially when I'm working in. So I work with HSBC. I'm currently in a placement in global trade. So we're working with many different cultures. So the opportunity to take some of those skills that I've learned from the apprenticeship standard into the role that I'm doing now has been great. So people skills, I think if you can class confidence as a skill, that's something that I've had to quickly learn or at least get better with. And then also being open and honest about things as well. So if there's potential areas where I need some more support, I'd like to say that that's a skill, to being honest about the fact that you do need some help. So loads of different skills, but definitely those three for me to kick us off.
Thank you. I think Amber, you might have been next.
Yeah, I'll go next. So I'll condense mine down into like the top 3 skills that I think I developed and learned and will take forward with me in my career. So I would say like leadership is definitely a top one for me. As I've moved up my grades in my career, stepping up to the role of like overseeing field staff on my audit engagements has definitely helped me to be more to see more of a project manager role. And then following on from John with saying the people skills, I think building relationships is a big one. When I joined my apprenticeship, you join as a cohort, as a year group. So you've got your peers that you go through each stage of your apprenticeship with, and they're there to support you, but as well as your audit teams that you work with on each of your clients. And then also, as you work on the clients, you've got entity management who you also build a good rapport with. And then finally, I've got time management, which is very key when you're an apprentice, because you've got a lot to balance in terms of your work, your study, as well as your personal life. So that's going to be a key one to learn.
Brilliant, thank you.
Yeah, for me, I would say the analytical skills was a very important part of my journey as an apprentice, and just being able to take large amounts of data and funnel it to get the information you want. That is essential. And going forward, I think any role that I were to be engaged in, that would come in handy. Communication skills, that has improved greatly through my apprenticeship experience with Barclays. I always considered myself to be very strong in communication, but that was magnified through dealing with the various stakeholders, both internal and external, and learning the whole corporate culture, how things are done, and communicating with stakeholders at all levels through email, on Teams, and adjusting accordingly to the styles of different stakeholders. So yeah, these 2 important skills I will carry on.
Thank you.
I think it's me next. I could say that a skill for life would be memory, but if I've got that wrong, then that's out the window, isn't it? Okay, so I'll pick on one skill for life, which I suppose would be problem solving. I really think the apprenticeship schemes in general open you up to really start to think critically and get to the heart of issues quicker. And the benefit of being an apprentice coming into any industry, in a sense, is to provide that new perspective of how to kind of come up with solutions to problems that they may have faced for years. So that would be the one critical skill for life that I have learned during my apprenticeship.
Excellent. Good memory, by the way.
For me, I think it would be definitely the communication side, but more so understanding kind of conflict resolution. So I think coming from the university background, you very much gravitate and move in circles with people who are much like you. Going into the work and the apprenticeship, you kind of hit like, you face straight away those difficult conversations you may have, and you don't really feel prepared for that. Whereas with the apprenticeship support, it's definitely how do people learn, the personalities you encounter, and how you can mold yourself and deal with that and have those difficult conversations. So I think that's definitely something I've improved on and had support within the apprenticeship.
Yeah, really good point there. Thank you.
I think it's just me last. So the main key life skill I've noticed that I've learned over the past couple of years is job and time management, and being critical with your time usage. That comes from both the studies under the apprenticeship and the time at college and your revision, but also juggling different jobs in the workplace. And especially for me, being critical about where I can spend that time when I'm meant to be working. You might have 3 or 4, for me, audits on. And you have to be critical in terms of which one has a closer deadline, which is more important, where can you delay tasks, but also where can you say no to seniors and who are giving you work, and having that ability to be in control of your time, especially when you need to be revising late into the evenings. So for me, key life skill is team, to time management and critical thinking.
Excellent, thank you all. So by all means, put questions in the chat panel for us. I'll kick off with another one, and actually I'm going to give you 2 questions. And again, if we go in the same order, that's easier. I won't interrupt. So you can pick either of these questions. So the first one is there any skill that you were concerned about that you thought you would need in accounting and finance as a career that you didn't feel you had when you came into the workplace, but you've now been able to overcome? So if you haven't answered that sort of first one. And the second one was a question that we had pre-submitted, was what kind of data skills are you using in your roles?
I don't mind sort of kicking off with the first question when it comes to knowledge beforehand. I had probably very little knowledge, in all fairness, when it comes to finance. My family's got a bit of a background in finance, but that's about it. I studied a BTEC in sport excellence, so probably as far away from finance as possible. The one thing I did have was a bit of an interest in finance. I had an ambition and I wanted to try and forge a career in this space. So I went into it with an open mind. I went through the assessments and the actual applications all with an open mind. And ultimately, I didn't pretend to be someone that I wasn't. I knew what I was stepping into. I knew that there was going to be skills that I needed, but when it comes to actually having those skills straight off the bat, I don't think there's any real expectations. I've learned as much as I can just from experience and doing it. So when it comes to what you need to know, I think from my point of view, you can get away with not having the biggest finance background in the world. So I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, so I can just follow on from that again, that obviously joining an accountancy firm and audit, I guess there was an expectation. I thought I would need to know, my debits and my credits and all the accounting knowledge. But when I did first join, a lot of the other apprentices who also came from A-level college, as well as a few of the grads, so the graduates doing chemistry and history, also had minimal knowledge of accounting, as well as me. So yeah, you can all learn it on the job, and there is no expectation for you to know everything when you first join. So just to reassure you on that, it's sort of okay not to have any knowledge at all.
Thanks, Amber.
Oh,
go on.
Sorry. I was going to just the second question, the data skills. What did you mean by the data skills?
It was a question pre-submitted. So somebody had asked, what data and technology skills do you need to use in the workplace?
Oh, for that, I would say, obviously, some intense knowledge of the Microsoft application, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Access, PowerPoint, and Excel. For example, if you work in a finance institution or in a bank, you will have heavy use of Excel. So you will develop those skills if you don't yet have them. And with regards to, there are also various systems used in the workplace. So things like SAP, which is sort of like most financial institutions use these finance systems. So it depends on where you're employed. You will get introduced to various finance systems that are used widely. But yeah, there are many different skills you will learn as you go along.
Thanks, Genelle.
I think it's.
I was.
Oh, sorry.
No, don't mind. Go for it.
I was just gonna. I can answer like a little bit of both. So just on the back of what Genelle said about the Microsoft applications, I think one of the biggest things I've found is coming from uni and then into the apprenticeship for what you need to kind of know is, especially like on LinkedIn, you can do like free courses and stuff, and that helped a ton in terms of just like scratching up on how to do a VLOOKUP in Excel, because you don't realize how much you need it. And then with the second question, I'm coming from the other end of Amber and John, where I did accounting and finance in uni. So I thought I had the knowledge, and I thought, you know, the hard part was done, and then going into this apprenticeship, I think it doesn't matter the knowledge you already have, because it's all about application and the work ethic you put into it, into an apprenticeship. So yeah, so that was something I didn't have before, and I've had to learn in the job, is actually the work ethic to be able to complete your work, but also study at the same time.
Yeah, good point. Luke, do you want to do next?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of if there's anything I was concerned about joining, I think one of the major things would be in terms of speaking to people that are more experienced than you. Obviously, as an apprentice, you're kind of there to learn, and as a consequence, you shouldn't really be frightened to speak up or acknowledge that you don't understand something. In fact, it's kind of the purpose of you being there. And like I kind of alluded to earlier, you may be able to kind of build on or improve something just with your unique perspective coming from, you know, outside, not having that experience. So it is actually quite a benefit. In terms of technical skills, I think I'll tackle it a different way in terms of what makes you stand out, as well as kind of the basic skills you may just want to kind of highlight if you do apply for an apprenticeship. For finance, at least, I can speak about that. And, you know, I'd echo the use of Excel. You know, formulas in Excel are all basic ones, but to make yourself stand out, you may want to look at stuff like Power BI and look at the kind of new emerging technologies in that space, because the benefit of being an apprentice is that you can obviously come to the table and say, look, you know, I'm new to the role, I'm obviously learning as I go, but I'm not afraid to be looking at these new emerging technologies and really make a change. And that would really kind of help your application. Would be, I suppose, the one piece of advice that I'd give.
Thank you.
For me personally, I just want to reiterate a point that's been made on both. On the former, the professional skepticism was one skill that I didn't know whether I had or not, and that obviously is based on the knowledge. As was being said, you shouldn't be afraid to ask simple questions, ask basic questions of senior people, because you're there to learn, and that's the primary reason that you're there and on this apprenticeship. So you shouldn't be afraid to ask those simple questions, even if it's what is a credit or what is a debit, from the accounting point of view. On the data, and I just want to reiterate what Luke was saying there. The technologies that are coming in so fast that if you come into a firm at the start, I would almost push to get to understand these new technologies, especially in audit things, softwares like Inflow that you may hear about when you start, or if you go in. I'll be active if I was you in learning these new technologies and raising your hand and wanting to get involved, and researching them, even in your spare time, maybe, show that you're interested, because these will become dominant in the next few years. And if you hit the ground running, then it'll all be very easy from there.
Yeah, good advice there. Thank you, Andrew. We're going to take the questions now that are coming through. I'll take the first one, which was, what extent do Kaplan support with Excel skills? Is this beginner level or intermediate? We have both. So we offer, you can use as Kaplan apprentices the Microsoft Excel skills. We've got PowerPoint, advanced Word, so they're there. So do talk to your talent coach if you'd like to do those. I'm going to open this one up to the panel now. It's free for all, so whoever wants to speak first. From Natalie, what has been the toughest, most challenging part of your apprenticeship, and what have you done to resolve that, and what did you learn from it? Good question, Natalie.
I don't mind jumping on this. So the toughest area I had was juggling the work and the study. And I've just noticed a point that's been put up in the chat as well. I think it's around the same kind of thing. I asked around, as Matt Anchors has asked there, when I first joined, about the best way to deal with that. And a good piece of advice that was given to me was if you take half an hour before and half an hour after work, then you still get your evening, but you still manage to do a little bit of study there, and it's not too taxing, so you get a bit of a rest as well. And if you start that early on and don't leave it too late, then that knowledge builds over time. And that doesn't have to be academic study. It can also be maybe you're reviewing some audit procedures that you've been working on in the day, and you're just having a look online about some further information. So it could be work related or study related, but a little bit every day is helpful. But like I say, the thing I found most difficult was juggling the work and the study balance.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Good. Yeah, little and often. Good advice. Anyone else want to take that one?
I can second what Andrew said there when it comes to the time management skills. Probably something that I had to learn quite quickly, but ultimately when you do learn it, it can become a much smoother ride. It's probably the best way to put it. I also think my biggest challenge was overcoming my own mentality and going in with a consensus that I was an apprentice. I'm going to be the lowest of the low. I'm going to be doing teas and coffees, you know, that stigma or whatever you want to call it around it. And it's completely not that. The realizing your value is probably a really good way of putting it. And as soon as I did realize my value and realized how, I don't know, inclined people are to support and help you on your journey and your career, then the quicker I started to grasp different things and build the confidence, which I was touching on sort of with the skills for life side of things. So yeah, going into it with an open mind for sure, but then realizing that you are very much a part of the big clog that is whatever you're working, and that you add an awful lot of value there.
Yeah, excellent points. Thank you. Realizing your value. I like that phrase. Anyone else? Challenges, how you've overcome them. Neve, anything you want to add there?
I think for me, if you're going into an apprenticeship, it's important to have that open communication and put your non-negotiable first. I.e., it can be quite, I know I was quite scared of, you know, coming in as that new person, and it sounds like as if I'm demanding X, Y, and Z. Well, no, you are there to get through your exams and to get that work experience. And to do that, you are going to have non-negotiables, and that will be a cut-off point at 6 o'clock for you to go and revise. And don't be scared or apprehensive of approaching someone and saying that. And it may be a case of you do have someone you're more comfortable with to be able to discuss that. So I know in my line of work, like we've got our coaches who we go to for everything essentially. So there may be that one person who you feel a bit more comfortable with to kind of say, look, I'm struggling with balancing my work and studies. And it could be as simple as them going, oh yeah, I can just drop them a note just to say that, for them to bear in mind that you've got your studies going on. So I think like overarching is have your non-negotiables and don't shy away of, you know, communicating that across. because it really does lay the groundwork for you, the foundation for you to be able to then go, oh, right, I've got that saved time there, that protected time.
Yeah, brilliant. I like that, non-negotiables. Genelle, Amber, or Luke, how about any tips or strategies that have worked well for you when you've been juggling things?
I think for me, in terms of juggling, again, the work and the study, I created a good social and support network within my firm. So, you know, I've got my peer group who I joined with, and I reach out to them if I need any support, because where I'm a bright start, so a school leaver, compared to the grads, they did the exams at a quicker pace. So they kind of had freehand experience of what to expect. So I'd always reach out to them to get a bit of a head start into the exams. So I knew what was coming. And then also reaching out to the exam manager who, you know, is a qualified accountant in the firm and have been through exactly all the same process that I was going through. And they were providing me with experience and insight into what they had learned through their process as well, just to make me feel better about the place that I was in with trying to juggle the work and stressing about exams coming up.
Yeah.
So the key thing is to build a good support network.
That's a really good phrase as well. And maybe look at other people spoken about mentors. I'm going to take one quick question now, which is, as a beginner, should you start with level 2 or level 3 AAT? And my advice there is it really depends on the nature of the work and the role that person's doing. I haven't got your name in the message, but if you want to contact me, please do, and we can talk through that. So look at the relevant apprenticeship standard for level 2 and 3, and let's see which is more suitable to the role and what that person needs to be doing. Right, so who would like to take this one? A question in, going into the final level of the apprenticeship, what would be the one point of advice to get through the strategic level? So good question in from Hassana. Anyone at that stage?
Say that again.
What's your advice going into the final level of the apprenticeship when you're going the last stage, essentially, towards the end of an apprenticeship? What about motivation here? And you've already.
From what I have been told by my coach when we were preparing me for the last sort of year, the last leg, there is a lot of writing involved, because you have to sort of give a summary explanation of each of the skills that you have learned on the apprenticeship, how it has helped you, how you've grown. So there will be a lot of writing. So prepare. The tip was to don't just wait till the last couple of weeks of your apprenticeship to start working on that. You do little summaries as you go along for the entire year, so that when that time comes, you don't have a whole lot of pressure to get everything down.
Excellent. All right. Anyone else want to comment on that? We've just one question. Oh, Hassana says, thank you very much, Janelle. That's great advice there. So we're coming towards the end. This time has flown. So I'm just going to summarize a couple of things that have come up here. And whilst I do that, I'm going to put in the chat a quick survey question. I hope if you can. I'll answer the last question, then we'll have the survey question. So just quickly, for those who haven't gone to uni and came straight out of A levels, do you regret not going to uni and missing that lifestyle? Amber, can you do that in 30 seconds?
Yeah, I can take that one. Personally, I'll say no. I don't think the uni lifestyle would have suited me, but then that's just my opinion. And then I think in comparison to my friends who did go to uni, I feel like I'm more advanced in my professional career than they are. And having done a level 7 apprenticeship, it's equivalent to a master's degree, and I haven't got the debt from going to uni. So for me, I feel like the apprenticeship was a no-brainer route.
Good stuff. So thank you there. I've put in the chat the quick survey that would be really beneficial, because when we run other webinars, we like to know what you found has helped and whether this has been beneficial to you. What words of wisdom? So we talked about skills for life, and the panel have demonstrated in spades the strong communication skills they've all got. I'm sure everybody would be giving you a round of applause if we were in a room together. So my thanks to the panel for articulating your own skills so well and so helpfully to everybody on the call. We've heard about realizing your value, great phrase, having your non-negotiables, doing little and often, and never leaving things to the last minute, and some good time management and work-life balance skills thrown into the mix. So I've learned a lot from you, as I always do. Thank you to the panel for attending and everybody for joining us, and enjoy the rest of National Apprenticeship Week. And goodbye. Thanks all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you. Bye. I'll stay on, Genelle.
Yes.
Oh, Neve, thank you so much. Which room are you in, Neve? Oh, she's gone. We're in the same building. That's so lovely.
Oh, good.
Thanks, Michael, for coming along. Thanks, Rob. That's great. Lovely comments. Thanks, Ala. And Hannah, lovely to see you again on the call. Thank you. And Ed, thanks for coming. So I will, shall I give you a ring?
Yes, you
now?
can. Once you
because if we
settle
carry on
yourself.
here, it will
I
be
know.
recorded.
Yes, sure.
Let me just check I've got the right number. I'm just having a look at your, is it on the bottom of your email?
Yeah. Oh, you can call me on my
I'm going to
mobile.
ring you. I'm going to do old
Yeah.
school. I'm going to ring you on the 0203 number.
Oh, I'm not in office, so it won't go through. I
Okay.
will, let me
If
type
you
my,
if you put it in just to me rather than everyone in hosts and panels,
yes.
and
Yes.
I can do that.
Yes.
Actually, I can stop the recording.